When you hear the sound of the bell, you know you're in the championship rounds with King, of Essex. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. I wouldn't call it a slow news cycle, but I'd say it's a very, I guess, a controversial news cycle. Let's get out right in front of it. Claressa Shields has announced her opponent and her situation, her next fight, July 27th, in Detroit, for the heavyweight title. All right. Now, this is the warden of women's boxing. I'm going to dissect this objectively as possible, and you guys take it for what it's worth. Now, I got to keep that same energy when I'm talking about moving up divisions. All right. I'm not going to discount and say yes, it is some thinness, but two divisions for anybody, you gotta box. You gotta put on pretty much a stellar technical performance. And that what Shields did against Marshall. People thought Marshall may have had an advantage, as far as the weight, but Shields definitely held it down with, dancing under. So not taking anything away from that feat. I gave Tank the same credit with Mario Barrios, right? Obviously giving I gave Amanda Serrano credit against Katie Taylor. You know what I'm saying? So I'm keeping the same energy. It's a feat to behold. No disrespect. No disrespect. Um, I just have some problems with, even if you say the opponent. So let me not disparage my Canucks in Canada, but let's talk a little bit about Vanessa um Lepage-Joanisse. Let's talk about her. Because no, we're not talking about a fighter. We're not criticizing it. And it's the first thing. Oh, you never did this. Yeah, you're right. But that's why I got time on my hands because I think I'm allowed to be objective. Like this is why we watch. And you guys as fighters, um, it's no different than eating. If I don't eat it, if I don't eat pork, I don't eat pork. If I don't do it, I don't do it. Right. So let's just talk about the opponent. All right. Yes, she may be a title holder, but she was inactive from like 2017 to 2023. Then she only fought one time last year. Her lone loss is to the same individual that got popped for PDs, and they had the no contest against Franchon Cruz's earn, Alejandro Jimenez. Other than that, no real competition. Now, again, we could all say, yeah, there's a little bit a lack of depth, especially in the higher divisions. But that's why some of the gals challenge themselves or allow themselves to be challenged moving up in weight. So again, keep the same energy. I respect it moving up in weight. This ain't even Roy Jones moving up against John Ruiz, though, or maybe it is that. Okay, but I'll give you something within the realm of women's boxing that should make this a bit shameful. Because for as much as Claressa Shields criticizes Layla Ali and Christy Martin, the coal miner's daughter, Layla Ali had no issue with Christy Martin coming up two divisions, and people thought it was ridiculous or whatever it was. But it's hey, if she thinks she can do it, and the names. So of course there's precedent. I always say that I'm famous for saying if there's a precedent, then why not continue on with that sort of tradition, if you will. So I don't understand why Shields is willing to go up and fight a nondescript title holder versus again allowing herself to be challenged. I mean, Layla allowed herself to be challenged, right? This title holder of Vanessa is going to allow herself to be challenged, but is it really a challenge? So again, Roy Jones, John Ruiz. We all know what happened to Roy Jones after that bout, moving up and down in weight. I'm not suggesting the same thing, but so this leads right into it because Dimitri Salita, I guess the owner and proprietor of Salita Promotions, who was the promoter of Claressa Shields, was on this guy Ariel Halani. No disrespect. He don't. I don't really know of you like you don't know of me. Maybe you know me, but I say it respectfully. They were debating about who is the real GWOAT of boxing. And I thought it was a very controversial question because no matter what I think about this fight, no matter what you think about whatever you think, Claressa Shields is the GWOAT, pretty much. Pretty much. Katie Taylor to me is not in a discussion. Forget about the world championships. It's not what Claressa Shields has done in the Olympics, running it back like the defending champ at the Kumite. Katie Shields ain't done that. So forget about that. Forget about that. Now, the only other fighter that I would give some contention to the GWOAT title, and just gently, is Amanda Serrano. Because Amanda Serrano is a pioneer of women's boxing and combat sports, period. So when you have fighters like Shields and Marshall going to doing Amanda Serrano, because Amanda Serrano had to do MMA to keep thriving because of the lack of competition, and then goes on to become undisputed. Like that's very GWOAT-ish. And then as a professional, I mean, come on now. Um, if you want to argue, I mean, but respectfully, Katie Taylor's like the J. Cole of that shit. You get what I'm saying? Like if you were to say, Kendrick and Drake and then Cole is he may be the smart number three, but that's what Katie Taylor is. She ain't in the discussion, not to that regard. I think the discussion between the true GWOAT is Claressa Shields. But if you want to argue it, if that's your sort of thing, you're an argumentative person. Um, you can throw Amanda Serrano in there if you so choose. All right. I'm going to choose to move on. And talk about Alycia Baumgardner. Her and Delphine Persoon are scheduled for a bout. I think this is August 10th. And Baumgardner back in action, defending her titles. Great, what we like to see. And I'm gonna go somewhere with this because I'm gonna go back to number 3, Katie Taylor. And since we can't have the Shields Baumgardner fight, I'm cool. I'll back up off of that. We can go another direction where perhaps Baumgardner can go on a bit of a GWOAT-ish run. Follow me. Yeah, don't fucking just follow me. Shut up and follow me. Common opponent with one Katie Taylor, Delphine Persoon. Suppose Baumgardner stops Persoon. Suppose she stops her. I'm going to suggest that Baumgardner don't even worry about Shields. She should fight the winner of Taylor or Serrano, assuming whoever got the straps at 140. Now, yes, you may say, well, why not just Baumgardner move up to 135? 135 is cool. I just feel like, Caroline Dubois, she's busy. She's gonna take care of what's going on in that division, and we'll have to see what happens. And Chantel Cameron may or may not be back in the mix. Eileen McLeod is in the mix at 140, and Katie Taylor is in the mix at 140. And I feel like if we're talking about the 2-division thing, moving up 2 divisions, because maybe that is the biggest hurdle or has been the biggest hurdle between Baumgardner and Shields ever. It's just, it is a lot of divisions. But we got Serrano moving up 3 divisions. But Baumgardner, say she moves up 2 divisions and fights Katie Taylor. I like that. I like that. And for those of you that think or thought in this scenario that Katie Taylor's the greatest, here you got Alycia Baumgardner putting belt to ass. So picture that. And then maybe if that plays out in that way, we'll be revisiting this GWOAT discussion. But yeah, Baumgardner will defend her titles against Delphine Persoon. I like that as a common opponent for Katie Taylor. And eventually, if things are thin for Baumgardner, like I'm saying, maybe there's a shot at Katie Taylor for Baumgardner at 140, or suppose Serrano. And then, come on now, if Baumgardner move up to 140, assuming either Serrano, right? Serrano, can you imagine that? Because people are going to say it's not fair to bring Serrano up to Baumgardner. I get all that, but it's still an amazing fight. But you don't want to give her credit for that. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? All right. So yeah, can you imagine Tiara Brown? I know I talked about an eliminator between her and Karis Artingstall, but she's an eliminator against what's this girl, Gabriela Bouvier out of Argentina. She's like 19-12, won no contest. I think Tiara Brown has probably fought better opponents on better occasions. She's in the Skye Nicolson sweepstakes, if you will, for the WBC title. So, and again, I gotta respect this as the eliminator. This is the eliminator. Goes back to what I was saying in the last episode. That's why you can't be nobody. Because I mean, yeah, you gotta go where you're wanted. It seems that you're wanted, or you'll get an opportunity at the WBC. But boxing is funny, and I get the feeling that like you put all your eggs in that basket, um, you ain't gonna end up with no fluffy scrambled joints. I think you may want to move some of those eggs around. And since you already mentioned it, why don't you turn the tide of that frenemy situation and start pointing your guns at whoever you was pointing them at? I don't have to say the name. If you won't say the name, I won't say the name, but we all know the name. Point your guns in that direction, all right? Because listen, you could be in a predicament where they let it go to purse bid, nobody bids for it, then they say, see, that fight don't make no money. I ain't giving nobody no ideas. You should know that's how boxing work. So come on now, but good luck to you on the 28th. Let's make something happen, all right? And Nicholson, she might just duck you. She might just duck you. She's going to fight like in her next fight. She's, I'm fighting a puncher. I'm fighting a puncher. Because those are the fighters she can kind of dance around, fighters that need to stop and plant, because she's gonna constantly be on the move, southpaw jab. She's a very good fighter, but there will be fights that she'll avoid, and you can't build your career on. Nobody can build their career chasing anybody. All right, you could chase somebody with a strap for the unification, but you don't be running around with an interim belt forever. All right. Speaking of belts, Ema Kozin just signed with what's this? She signed with a new management company. What's the name of this outfit? Sweet Science Management. All right. But all we want to know, hopefully, Sweet Science Management will get her closer to the Cecilia Brækhus bout. I believe Brækhus is a mandatory for either the WBO or what she got, the WB. Yeah, Cozin's got the WBA. No, she got WBC and WBO. That was right. All right, so we'll see how that happens. Also, on a I guess on a more inconspicuous tier, we're talking about the flyweight division. You got Jasmine Zapotoczna. Hopefully, I got that right. Um, she is 6-1. Her only loss is to super flyweight contender Shannon Ryan. But this fight is at flyweight, and she's going to be facing off against one of Matchroom's flyweight prospects. I'm talking about MRC, um, Maisey Rose Courtney, undefeated, 6-0. So both of these fighters will have a Gimarug on their resume before they meet. And when they do, I'm guessing it's going to be a pretty good bout. Now at flyweight, it's a little bit of a lot going on. We got LaChucky Alanes. She just wrestled the belts from longtime unified champion Marlene Esparza. And you got Gabby Fundora with the only other strap. She's got the IBF. So yeah, we'll see how this one happens for either of these ladies in the flyweight division. Now, this week, I talked about it last week, but it is this week, and we're talking about Mary Spencer versus April Hunter. That is on the undercard of the what was this, Iglesias Shevchenko undercard from Montreal tomorrow. Mary Spencer, two losses back to back to Femke Hermans. Now she is I think she's got one win up, and then she's trying to continue on against April Hunter. April Hunter, I can't remember if she's undefeated or not, but she's out of the UK. Should be a pretty good bout. I think it's for a WBA gold, some sort of faux eliminator. But again, I just told you, Ema Kozin's got a strap at 154, the aforementioned Hermans, and we got to keep talking about O'Shea Jones. She just signed a sponsorship deal with C4. So shout out to her. Only because I'm talking about the 154-pound division. But that's what's happening this week. We also have young lady out of Greece. I've seen her fight a time or two. She is probably I think she has a good backstory. She's not necessarily the knockout artist that she may purport to be in her name. Why would I say all that? She calls herself Pink Tyson. Eh. Um, 17-3, won no contest, 7 KOs. I've seen her fight a time or two. Always wears pink, blonde cornrows. Eh. So opponent is to be announced, and it's on the Adrian Broner and Blair Cobb undercard. So go figure. All right. All right. That's pretty much it, man. If you see something, say something. And if you see this, definitely drop a comment, leave a like, or hell, just watch it in silence. Steal my information and purport to sound as though you know what you're talking about, but then people will pull you up on it and say, yo, that's to know your language. You must be watching the championship rounds with King Amina Bex, of course, because women's boxing is boxing and boxing is our thing. I'm out, y'all.